Good morning, family. Hey, this is your boy Gerald. It is 6:36 in the morning, Monday, the 28th of January, 2007. What? No, 2013. Where'd that come from? See, it's too early in the morning. Well, another weekend has come and gone. I hope it was great for you guys. And I wanted to talk about having the ability to release yourself from the things that enslave you. Those emotional shackles that we tend to hold on to, which in actuality are nothing but your fears. I want to title this The Art of Self-Releasing. And this weekend, it seems like God always places me at the right place at the right time to receive the things that I'm supposed to take heed to or bring to my attention. So, I had some discussions, and first and foremost, I feel great, and I hope you feel great, and I hope that your weekend was great. But if there was some challenges, those, how did you handle yourself? Did you look at them for what they were and more or less decided that you were going to take that time to face your fears? And if you did, how do you feel? Was there some progression? Or did you allow your fears to have dominion over your day, your reality? What did you do? Well, there's a way that you can fix that when you're ready to do so. And I'm just going to talk about really briefly. I mean, it is bright and early. I'm like, wow, I'm up before the birds got up. So, give me a second. Gotta have my morning coffee. Speaking of that, how did you guys brave the weekend with the snow? When you was out and, driving around, did you notice how some people took the time to get to where they were going? Then you had some people, flying down the road, and unfortunately, you had accidents that took place that should not have. There was a reason for that. Every time you drove by and you saw someone, unfortunately, on the side of the road needing assistance, there should have been a red flag to you that sometimes it's best for you to slow down, take heed, and actually learn from other people's experiences. That's where your wisdom comes from. But as I've been mentioning before, to have the life that you really want, truly that is found within yourself, you must be able to have the courage to face your fears, whatever your obstacles are. See, no one will know how you feel unless you exhibit that in your reality. I mean, think of it this way. How many times have you not knowingly was going through your place and then you accidentally stubbed your toe? And you know that you would rather gnaw your foot off to deal with that pain from that toe hitting that object. It's very sobering. And then depending on how you dealt with that, that may have set the tone for the rest of your day. Because now everything is off sync, off tilt. It's because there's a reason behind that. Until you have the ability to control your emotions, everything that's within you will come out of you. That's why when you go to work or you're at school, how many times have you seen this situation? You just walk into an environment And you can feel the negativity that's in the air that's coming from one person. And I mean, it feels like a vacuum sucking out the life of everyone. The reasoning behind that is because they don't have control within themselves. So, just like a water hose that's been turned on, everything within its vicinity is made contact. Just so happen is negative energy. And if you don't have control of your emotions, you receive it. Even though this is another topic, but I'll say this right now. That is why the power of this, of, you know how they in marriage they talk about being yoked. It's in the Bible, being yoked, which also talks about, which is a parallel for like-minded people. Like-minded people think alike, they act alike because they're in their environment. So if that environment, is not positive, everything in that environment will be the same. And the person that is not like-minded will stand out. That is why it's very, very important that you find balance in your life and have the courage to change. You know how they say nothing lasts forever. Well, guess what? If it's divinely willed, it does. It's timeless, a classic. And usually when it's a classic, it's one of a kind. That's you. You dictate how the world will receive you. So, with that being said, that's why I'm making this video. You have to be able to get to a point in your journey to assess what works for you, what's not working at all, and what you can do to change it. If you're in an environment that does not serve you, that you are not growing from, you've got to have the courage to change it. If you have someone that is in your environment that is not helping you grow, or you're not learning from that person, you may have to opt to change it, even if it's for a period of time. Because if it's meant, not only will that person, environment change, it does that because it validates your worth. But it cannot do that until you claim that dominion. I had a friend of mine, excuse me, I talked to him, and before we got to talking, I could feel his energy that something was really getting at him. And before I even said anything, he was like, "Gerald, I need to talk to you." And I'm there. So we went where we go, and he was telling me about how there were things that had been plaguing him emotionally, and he was trying to find a solution. And as he was venting, he was also doing the self-work to find some type of culmination of what was best for him. But the more and more he was discussing what had been bothering him, I saw a common denominator. The common denominator is he saw the answer, but he did not have the strength to bring out the solution. He was more worried about how others would perceive him. And in turn, that was causing him to be really just unhappy. So, with that being said, if people, if your environment, if you're in an environment that does not bring you any happiness, any substance, why are you in it? What is the benefit? You know, he told me, he said, I don't want to live like a hypocrite no more, but I'm having a hard time forgiving, because there had been some people that had hurt him. And I told him, I said, listen, it's called emotional baggage for a reason. You will carry that burden, whatever it is, until you release it. But before you can release it, you got to face your fears. And then and in his way, he was like, well, in time. So I looked back at him and I smiled. I said, well, look at it this way. If you don't see it on your paycheck, if you do not see it giving you benefit emotionally, physically, socially, there's a positive out of it, why do you hold on to it? Because you can't grow. And if that means you have to let certain situations go, you are worth that. That is your self-worth. That's the value of you being you. That's your sole principle of defining your existence. So make today the day. If you haven't done it yet, sit down. Write down the things that you want to change in your life. Write them down. I'm talking about the stuff that you've been holding forever. Then turn around for each one of those issues, right below it, what you can do to change it. And when you start doing that, you'll feel better about yourself, but it also makes room for the things you're supposed to have, not the things that are more or less robbing you. You know what happens to people that hold on to emotional baggage, or more or less hold on to their fears? Do you know? Number one, physically, you open up yourself for all type of medical issues. Because if you look at society now, about 65% of the commercials about any type of health issues deal with the mind. The mind. And society is not in the business for curing. It's in the business for sustaining. Just like they say, hey, I know you got problems, but you take this little pill right here so we can more or less, it'll sustain you, more or less dumb you down. But I don't have an answer to your problems. Of course you don't have answers to your problem because those are your problems. But if you're in a situation where you are unhappy, when are you going to make the determination to start making yourself happy? And when you start doing that, guess what? You validate your self-respect. You validate who you are. And keep in mind, y'all, no one can do anything you won't allow. Don't forget that. Don't. And if they want you to be in your life, be in their life, they'll respect you. They'll see that. Like they say, the You miss the water when the well runs dry? Well, think of it this way. It is time to put water back in that well. It is time, because that's your vitality. Call your higher power. Submit. Ask him to help you in your situation. Be patient, but be diligent. Now, if you've gotten something that you should not have, well, guess what? It wasn't going to last anyway, because it wasn't meant for you to have. Or even if it was meant for you to have, it would not have been the time for you to receive it, because you still have work. I'm going to touch on this on the next one. But make the day that you say, hey, enough's enough. I love myself more, and my happiness is defined by me. God's praying for you. I'm doing the same. Keep God first in everything you do. Stay blessed.